All right, let's talk about a really pivotal moment in database history. We're going to dive into the Exadata X6. Now, this thing wasn't just another server rack. No, it was a machine that signaled a huge, and I mean huge, strategic shift for Oracle. And you know what? It all boiled down to one single powerful idea. So what was that big idea? Well, for a minute, let's just forget about faster chips or more memory. The real story here, the core of the Exadata X6 from back in 2017, it's all about one word that completely reshaped the industry: convergence. That was the real drama.
Okay, so I keep saying drama, right? What was this drama of convergence all about? Well, it was a fundamental change in how people thought about these systems. The goal wasn't just, let's make the box in the data center faster. It was about connecting that box to something way, way bigger.
And that something bigger was the cloud. This whole idea of cloud convergence became the mission. Think about it. For the very first time, you could have an engineered system sitting right there in your own data center that was, get this, architecturally identical to what you could get in the Oracle Cloud. We're talking the exact same performance, the same capabilities, everything. This was the blueprint for a real, honest-to-goodness hybrid cloud strategy. Now look, having a big dream like that is one thing, but to actually make it a reality, you need some serious horsepower under the hood. So let's pop the hood on the X6. What was actually inside this machine that made all this convergent stuff even possible? And here we go. The X6 was just stuffed with cutting-edge tech. The real game changer, the big headline, was adding these high-capacity NVMe flash drives. I mean, this was a massive leap forward. Suddenly, you could boost your transaction processing and your heavy-duty analytics on the same box. You add in faster processors and some really smart software for juggling resources, and what you get is a machine that could handle these insanely demanding, mixed workloads without even breaking a sweat. And here's the key takeaway, right? This wasn't just about speed for the sake of speed. This performance was the engine that made the whole cloud strategy work. This whole thing really forced a major philosophical shift. I mean, think about it. Before the X6, an engineered system, it was a physical box, right? It was tied to its specific hardware, and it was stuck inside your data center. But with convergence, suddenly the system was defined by its architecture, not where it was physically located. It could live anywhere. It stopped being just a box and started becoming a logical platform. And you can imagine, right? This shift from thinking physical box to logical platform had huge strategic consequences. The X6 wasn't just another product on a price list. It was a critical piece of the puzzle in Oracle's much bigger vision. It was literally the bridge to the cloud. The promise to customers was so simple, yet so powerful. Run anywhere. Just two words, but they were a complete revolution for enterprise IT. Your most critical database workloads, they were no longer chained to your on-prem hardware. All of a sudden, you had the freedom to move them to the cloud, or even move them back, without having to tear everything down and re-architect your entire setup. That's a huge deal. So if we look back, the impact is crystal clear. The X6 launches in 2017. Its key innovation, that NVMe flash, delivered the raw, insane performance you needed to make this whole hybrid dream feel real, credible. And from a strategic point of view, this absolutely cemented Oracle's commitment to a hybrid cloud future. It gave customers a clear, logical path forward. And all of this builds up to the final, and maybe the most profound, change of all. The Exadata X6 really helped redefine what an engineered system even is. It started to shift the whole model away from a product you buy to a service you consume. Which brings us right back to this central question. Is it just a really powerful box? Or is it something more, a versatile platform? What the X6 did was force the entire industry to stop seeing these things as just a collection of hardware parts and start seeing them as a consistent architectural standard, a standard you could deploy absolutely anywhere. The answer? It's one. One single unified platform. That was the goal. For the very first time, customers could get that same incredible speed, that same reliability, that same architecture across their entire IT estate, whether it was on-premise or in the cloud. Performance and flexibility, they had finally truly converged. At the end of the day, this is the real legacy of the Exadata X6. The conversation totally shifted. It wasn't about who has the fastest box in the data center anymore. The new frontier, the real revolution, was about delivering that extreme, predictable performance anywhere and everywhere a customer needed it to be. And this all leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. When the physical hardware itself starts to matter less than the architecture, when that box kind of dissolves and becomes a service, what are we even buying anymore? When the hardware disappears, what is actually left? Well, what's left is the architecture. It's the service. It's the capability. And that right there is the journey that the Exadata X6 really kicked off for the entire industry.